This set is based on table and it is quite easy and it is a must attempt set while taking this mock. Here it is given that the table shows the information related to population and a few other parameters for 5 states of India for year 2010. The total population of state P in 2010 was 720 lakh. Out of this population, 40% belong to rural area, which means rest 60% belong to urban areas. Literacy rate was 50% and number of women per thousand men was 920. Similarly, we can check these figures for other states as well. In the first question, it is given that in rural region of state P, all women, that is 188 lakh, are literate and all men are illiterate. The literacy rate among urban men in state P is at least. So first of all, find the total rural population, which is 40% of 720. This will be 288. Out of these 288 lakh people in rural areas, 188 lakh in state P are female and all these females are literate. So the rest of the person who are male are illiterate. Now the remaining population, that is 720 minus 288, which comes out to be 432 lakh, belong to urban areas. And in order to find the male numbers and female numbers in urban areas, we have to use number of women per thousand men. So the total number of women in lakh in state P was 720 into 920 upon 1000 plus 920, which comes out as 345, and the total number of female in rural areas is 188 lakhs. So the remaining 157 lakh must have been in urban areas. So the male population in urban areas was 275 lakh. Now coming to the question, it is asking the literacy rate among urban men in state P at least. If we want to minimize the literacy rate among urban male, we have to maximize the literacy rate among urban female, and the total number of females in urban areas must have been literate in order to minimize the number of male literate. So all these 175,000, 157,000 female must have been literate, and the total number of literate in state P was 50% of 720, which comes out to be 360. Out of 360, we have got 188 plus 157, which comes out as 345. So 345 lakh female could have been literate in state P combined or taken together, rural and urban population, and the total number of literate people in this state in year 2010 was 360. It means at least 15 lakh males must have been literate. So the required percentage will be 15 upon 275 into 100. Upon 275 into 100. This comes out to be 5.45%. Therefore, option D is the correct answer. In the next question, it is given that if the literate population is staying in urban areas of each state is maximum possible, then how many states urban population can be 100% literate? Here it is given that the maximum population of urban area is literate, so we have to find in how many of these states entire urban population was literate. Now if we look at state P, literacy rate of state P was 50% and the percentage of people in urban area was 60%, which means for state P it was not possible to have all 100% people literate, as the maximum literate could have been 50% across the region in state P, and the maximum and the number of people or fraction of population in urban area was 60%, so 100% literacy for urban population was not possible for state P. Now coming to state Q, in state Q 70% of people were from rural areas, which means the fraction of people that belong to urban area in state Q was 30% and the literacy rate of state Q was 55%. It means it was possible to have 100% literacy in state Q in urban areas. So Q was one of the states where 100% literacy in urban area was a possibility. Now coming to state R, 45% of population of state R was from urban area and the literacy rate of this entire state was 45%. So it was possible for state R as well to have 100% people literate in its urban areas. Now coming to S, the percentage of people of state S that belong to urban areas was 100 minus 64, that is 36%, and the literacy rate in this state was 44%, which means for state S it was possible to have 100% of its urban population literate. Coming to state T, 70% of population of state T belong to urban areas, but the literacy rate as a whole of this state was only 60%. So for state T it was not possible to have 100% literacy in among urban people. So there were 3 states in which 100% literacy was possible for urban people. These states were Q, R and S. Therefore option C is the correct answer. In the next question it is given that in each state 10% of rural population migrates to urban areas of the same state. If this migrant population is illiterate, then which state will have lowest literacy rates in its urban areas. The thing that we should point out here is breakup of literate and illiterate people in urban or rural areas is not given, so it is not possible to find the state which have lowest literacy rates in its urban areas. Therefore, answer of this question will be cannot be determined, which is option D. Now, coming to the last question of this set, it is given that 70% of literate population of each state belong to urban areas. Then, which state has the lowest percentage of literacy in rural areas? Here we do not need to do any calculation, just we need to do observation on two fronts. First, percentage of population that belong to rural areas and the literacy percent for the entire state, and on observation we see that the state S had a very huge chunk of its population in rural areas and its literacy percent is really very low compared to other states. In fact, it is the least among the given states. So when we check the ratio of 350 into 44% and 30% of this, which means 0.3, this is the total literate population of rural area of state T, and the total population of state T was 350 into 64 by 100. On when we calculate this ratio for the given states, we find S has the minimum value of this ratio, which means the literacy rate of rural people in state S was the minimum. Thus, the option C is the correct answer.